Okay, I'm gonna start it a little early because I just am going to, but I'm going to move that volume a little bit down and hopefully everybody can hear me just fine. I know you are bored, Mermaid. I wouldn't expect it any other way. When does it start? It starts in a minute. I'm gonna give people a minute to get in here, but this is Super Crush KO, which I literally forgot or didn't know what the game was about until about 10 minutes ago when I started actually reading what the game was about. From what I gather, it is a brawler, but people have said it is like a 2D Bayonetta, which is very interesting to me. Elements of Devil May Cry would be in that, but this may be Makoto, but we'll find out soon. It does have a cat, but unfortunately that's not Artemis or Luna. So we're just gonna start right up now. I'm not sure if I would ever have a Fry phone holder. That is a fat cat. Look at that kitty go flying. The alien wants the cat. Oh, of course. The art's a little bit different, but I sort of like it. Hey, no, you don't wave at me. You took my cat. How dare you? Now, granted, I am allergic to cats, so it'd be like, okay, bye. Are we just gonna steal her gun? Did she not take the gun with her? You had the bat phone case once. Yeah, I remember that one. Why would you leave her gun? All right, move. Okay. Jump. A little floaty on the jump. And there's also something about the... Hold on a second, guys. Like... Man, like, the movement... It's really bothering me the way it's moving, like against the ground. So we do have a style meter, as mentioned. Okay, so we got regular punches. Okay, fine. Yeah, I figured out the punch combo by myself. Didn't need that. Drop down. Backgrounds are nice. There's a lot of detail in like the those not the potions, drinks in the vending machine. And even though there's not a lot of use of color in some of these backgrounds in terms of like it's solid most in one section, it does do a reasonably good job. So the jump is like really floaty. Okay, so we have a lock on and a lock on shot, but so we don't want to overheat. Alright, so switching from weapon into punch into weapon is pretty natural. Doesn't have any issues with, like, there's not really a delay on it. And with the lock on, it's easy to just get right back into things. There is some weird slowdown happening here. I'm not sure how to put it. Like, it feels like the game is, like, catching up a little bit. Do you say the opposite of what I just wrote? Like, it's not detailed in certain aspects, but, like, if you look close, like, okay, the stools here and, like, the, like, cups, there's a good amount of work there. It's just that it's very basic work. Which I think I do understand, because you want to keep the focus on the action in the front in a game like this. Press and hold the dodge forward. Can I dodge through enemy bullets to destroy them? Okay, that's actually a useful tip. Are these other aliens who are... I'm assuming that they came to take over the planet, but now that a kitty has been found, they're like, oh, well, sucks to be you, but we're gonna take the cat, and all these other ones are like trying to take over the world, but I am gonna need something other than the punch very soon, because it is getting pretty basic here. But I'm assuming it's going to give skills. Like, there's going to be a skill system at some point. Yep, keeping a combo is not that hard. Pretty lenient right now in terms of, like, timing. I do like that the cat head is the style meter. You are currently my 29th favorite streamer. Wow, I am dropping like flies. Okay. I don't know what would make a perfect combo, but okay, sure. His name is Chubbs. Of course it is. Okay, so it's a level system, so that's a little bit different than your typical, like, Bayonetta style game. I'm hoping that the game introduces some kind of different power with, like, the Y or X button right now, because it's already starting to get a little bit repetitive. Ow, took damage. You want a fat corgi named Chubbs. Pretzel. Gives you Twister Drill. Okay, cool. Line them up and knock them down to hit a row of enemies at once. Okay, so that's by, like, horizontal type attack. Okay, so that, and it brings them together a little bit. It is a special move, so that's... Bayonetta is broken into stages and chapters as well, but it isn't, like, it doesn't, like, have a select screen like, well, it does, but yeah, I guess it is like Bayonetta. It's been a while. So you gotta be careful with using it. Okay, launch your enemies in the air. That's what I was looking for. I don't think it allowed me to use that until it actually told me about it. Okay. Not bad. Everything feels nice, except for, like, it still feels very floaty compared to other games. Oh, shoot. Oops. It's hard to describe the floatiness, though. Like, it doesn't, like, feel like it's, like game breaking, but it's still something that is a little bit weird to me right now. Maybe I'll get used to it. There we go. So are those what are those cubes? Oh, dodged right into that. Good job, me. Is there a cooldown on the dodge? Yeah, there's a cooldown on the dodge. Okay. I know you're bored. It wouldn't be a Dragnix stream without Andrea being bored. Can you play as Chubbs? No, I don't know yet. Come on. There we go. Nope. There we go. Oh, I got pizza now. Apparently food gives me superpowers. Uppercut sliced. Okay, good. All right, so it's slowly weaving you into the combos and into the system. So I feel like it's actually doing a good job of introducing it at a slow enough pace for people who are not used to the genre, but people can understand what's going on at least. That punch has got some distance to it, though. Are we gonna rhyme more and bored and everything today? The uppercut does do a lot because the vertical level design here in the 2D plane is going to be very important in terms of that uppercut, because just being able to reset yourself to the next level and keep a combo going is going to be vital. Like, yeah, you could drop down, but sometimes it comes at the cost of just, like, not getting that timing down. Like, dropping down just has a little bit more, I don't want to say delay, but it doesn't feel right. But punching up and actually getting that damage and knocking enemies into the air to reset them is vastly important for keeping this combo going. I wonder if there's going to be Super S, and it doesn't look like it. I do like the cut into that score screen. Every time, everything you punch, pain grow in your muscle? Yee. Alright, so there is sort of a... like a checkpoint system, or not checkpoint system, like a achievement system within each level. Still got an A with the final score. That's good. I wonder how long this game is, and I'm surprised it hasn't introduced any more new enemy types yet, but I'm betting it's going to in the next 30 seconds or so. Oh, it's gonna introduce spikes. Okay. That does change things a little bit, but with the ranged weapon, I don't know if it's too bad, and it doesn't look like enemies are affected by it at all, which does suck. I mean, that would be nice if the enemies were also affected by it. Oh, they are affected if I'm the one to activate it. Interesting. So they can't activate it, but I can. It actually stands for soap, not super. I mean, I have no idea what we're talking about now. Yeah, this is I'm enjoying myself here. Nothing too crazy, but everything feels right. I'm starting to get accustomed to the floatiness of the jump. Air pop. Point at an enemy to lock on. You could chain up to 3 before landing. Okay. Gives you an air move, which is going to be, again, vastly important to keep these vertical... Like, a lot of this level design is very, very vertical. Like, the horizontal plane, yeah, it's there, but it's moving from element to element in the y-axis. That's probably going to be the most important thing. Like, yeah, being able to control my space here with these guys is great and all, but usually I can get them before they even start attacking. It is an interesting level. I mean, they haven't really changed the level design yet either. Like, it's still based on these like basic like 3-level systems or 2 or 3 level systems. Yeah, the horizontal portion changes, but when it comes to combat, with the amount of space these vertical parts have, it's not that much, to be honest with you. It's not that different. Ah, jumped right into that. Yeah, this definitely takes the spectacle fighter and translates it well into the 2D space. It's all about the rhythm of combat, and rhythm is good. Cannot be interrupted, dodge through enemies. But it's definitely not going to really draw the attention of players who may have been like a little bit skeptical of the genre, even in the 2D space, because it is what you would expect when somebody said Bayonetta in 2D. Yeah, it is Bayonetta in 2D to a certain extent, but I'm almost surprised there's no witch time, to be honest with you. Maybe that'll be another power-up, though. It is nice to see that I could dodge into things and actually deal that damage that's important enough. This is a 2D spectacle fighter. Ground shake. Okay. Okay, so now I can interrupt the interruptible attacks. That's sort of dangerous. I get it for mobile games I played a while, and that's not necessarily... Elaborate on that, you've seen, because I'm not seeing the mobile portion. Is it the 3 achievements thing? Is it the color or the presentation style? It definitely doesn't have the same spectacle as Bayonetta, though, but you're right, but it's one of those, did you expect it for a $13 game? I wouldn't. There is a little bit of Smash DNA in there. I can see that. FAQ. To a certain extent. Oh, it's serious. There's 3 exclamation points this time. I do like the gun. Definitely really helps in just keeping that combo going in the right ways. I thought I hit down. Yeah, I thought I hit that when going after that enemy, but apparently not. Positioning yourself in combat here is also a big thing, and it is nice how the spacing works out so that I can naturally go from one person to the next. The compactness of the actual arenas is working in the game's favor. It does feel pretty easy, though. I say that now, but who is she and how does her hair stay completely perfect? It's a good question. Oh. Tenta Crush. Down B is holy water. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I've been getting S ranks a lot this entire time, so I think I understand you. That's where the game is actually what I feel like it's gonna suffer. Because, yeah, I'm getting S ranks in a good amount of cases. Yeah, I just didn't in that case, but you know what? Sometimes things happen. But the fact is that I'm pretty new to playing this version of the game, and I'm getting S ranks pretty easily. So the difficulty curve I do question, because people who are going for these spectacle fighters, even the 2D space, they're gonna want that sort of over-the-topness, like, and the sort of drive to perfect, to get those like 100 hit combos. Now, granted, I'm not keeping my eyes as much on the score as maybe other people would, like the actual combo portion, like what points I'm getting. I'm keeping an eye on the S, but maybe there's a lot more levels to get here. It'll probably get harder than this, but these levels are seeming to get long. Are seeming to be very long, and I'm not sure, especially when you consider, and granted, it comes out for the Switch and Steam. Remember, the Steam's got the 2-hour refund limit. I do wonder if people start playing the first part of the game and it's like, it's moving a little bit too slow for me, and don't bother with it. Okay, so I have an ultimate attack. Collect gems to... I don't know why I have the ability to do that, but okay. I mean, look at how I'm keeping things going just so easily. Like, I feel like that, like, it's almost like I'm just a passenger on this combo ride, and I'm not sure if that's necessarily a great thing. It's definitely got a charm to it. It's definitely got a good, like, introduction to a spectacle fighter aura about it, but I don't know. There's something, it's missing that X factor for me right now. Granted, I'm still enjoying myself, but we'll, you know, give it more time. We'll see. I gotta take some breaths now and again, you seen. I'm really liking that dive mechanic, because that dive mechanic is really putting the horizontal space into question in terms of, like, okay, keeping things going. Like I talked about the vertical and the uppercut, that dive is becoming more and more important in this level design right now. Because it's starting to get a little bit more horizontal as we go about here. Breathing is overrated, though. A little bit. Only a little bit, though. It is also interesting that it's not a health meter. It's just a health... I mean, it's sort of a health meter, but it's literally just 4 health bar. bars. As opposed to like, oh, a little bit of healing here, a little bit of healing there. No, it's just, okay, you have 4 hearts. You can take 4 hits. Too slow on that down. Why? There we go. Ah, dropped right into that. I do feel that though, even though I feel a little bit as a passenger at this point, I am enjoying the sort of the rhythm to the battle here. And I feel like any mistake that I'm making is my own. Like I'm not paying attention to what the game is actually telling me. I don't know why it stopped there for a second. Okay, done in that time. No continues. Okay, could have not taken as many hits. Meow. Okay, so it looks like we got one more level before probably the boss fight level. The animations are good, but like and like the colors they add to like the hits and everything are nice. I will admit though, it's hard to keep going, like pay attention to all of them when you're in the middle of battle. You're just like, okay, find the next enemy, find the next enemy. You don't really care about the explosions or the anything like that. All right, keep going. So, like, here's the thing. What's that called? The trace when she punches. Yeah, I'm trying to think of a good descriptor for it. It looks like the Cal Arts. I would not call it a Cal Arts art style. I mean, you have to remember. Like, okay, I get the whole Cal Arts thing, but there's a difference between animation in terms of, like, something like, say, like Thundercats Roar or whatever that new one is, and an actual movable video game where I'm actually in control of the character. Yeah, the character's design here, if we take a look at it, is simple, but there's a lot of detail to it. There's a lot of intricacy in terms of even the small details, like the little shadows on the knees there. And again, you have to realize that with a game like this, sometimes it's better to be a lot simpler in terms of your play style, in terms of the presentation, because you want people to be focusing on the movement and the action more than the enemies themselves, because, you know, if they're getting too caught up in that, they're not doing what your whole design of the gameplay is going for. I think the art style works well here. I do want to see. This is part of the level design thing that I was talking about. Like we've been in this area for about 4 levels now, and I feel like it may have been time to move on a little bit or change it up a tiny bit. Now there is what seemingly to me is that there is a little bit of a hitbox behind an enemy when they're attacking, because there's been 2 or 3 times where I've been like just behind the enemy, like not in front of them and not totally behind them, but just in their movement space. We're like right here, and I end up getting hit, and that can feel bad, at least on my side. So there is a little bit of a weird hitbox there, but ow. Forgot to dodge through it. It's a little bit weird that he can go through the laser like that. The energy recovery rate too is a little interesting, because like I'm gaining energy back at a reasonable rate. I did not mean to use my super on that, but that's okay. And you're gaining energy from defeating enemies and all, but man, like I feel like I'm getting abilities just back rather quickly. I do wonder if the game unlocks any other difficulty options and you're able to tweak that. That would be something I'd be really interested in, because I feel like with a little bit of tweaking, this combat could be like really up my alley in terms of that spectacle fighter. But it would be something that I'd have to play with. I like how dodging into the bullets is a better option than to wait for it to come. See, I do wonder why like some of these levels are, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but they seem a little bit long for what they're testing. Like they're testing your ability to survey the battlefield, get those combos, try everything in terms of the new combos and such. But I do wonder if it's going a little bit too far in terms of how long it needs to be per level. Can you dodge cancel out of certain moves? You know, I've tried. It doesn't feel like you can. Oops. It seems like maybe at a certain point you can do something with it, but it's only after the main portion of the attack is done. Now, I am noticing with me doing that energy and trying to do that demo, like getting the energy back, I had to kill, and it really screwed me up in terms of my combo. Dodging at the bullets, will this turn hellish? Maybe a little bit. Let me see. Time continues, but I failed the hits. Yep. Yeah, 2 perfects. Oh, she gets to use her... Okay, so we got a boss fight. So let's see what the boss fight has to offer. Who are you? I am called Nunya. Huh? Oh, Nunya? None of your business. Oh, Anne. That's a big cat. Aww. She just wants a friend. Poor Karen. Destroy her, Mecha 1.
Huh?
Ooh. Nice little wind effect there. Okay. I'm surprised it gave HP actually there. Okay, damaged it. I feel like they didn't test the boss fights very well, because there was like several cases where I was able to avoid damage just being behind the enemy. How do the damage or blah blah blah? How do the dodge frames on the dodge field? They feel fine. It's taking a little bit of time to get used to this versions of it, because obviously each game has its own version of, okay, how long is that dodge, how many frames is it. I feel like it's very, very forgiving. Time continues. Probably not the hits. Yep.
Huh?
Do like the comic style, but I'm a sucker for a comic style.
Hey.
Hey. Oh, she's feeding it kitty. It's you're feeding kitty donuts to itself.
Meow.
Later, suckers. Okay. This is odd. Going to the black here is very strange. This is really off-putting, to be honest with you. Part of me wonders if something just broke. Oh god, I would love a comic zone, like a modern day comic zone. It's one of those games that I always really wanted to play, but I didn't have a Genesis growing up, so like I was so jealous. I think one of my friends had it, and I was like, I really wanted to play it, but never got a chance to. I don't know if it's a bug. It's gotta be, right? Like, I can't see the... Yeah, like, I can't see the platforms. Also, it's nice to see that there's an on and off flashing effect. But I'm pretty sure this is a bug. Well, yeah, this is definitely a bug, but I don't know why it loaded the level like this, but it's sort of hilarious. Not gonna lie. I could always restart the level, but you know what? I'm gonna just finish the level. It's an extra challenge, not knowing where the platforms are somewhat. Ah. I also don't use my super attack as much as I should. They needed to handicap me somehow. I mean, there's plenty of ways to do that. Get me to try to sound a word that I don't know. Obviously, they wouldn't know that unless if they were paying attention. Come on. I just hope there's no bottomless pits. That's what I'm afraid of right now. Are we gonna get to a section where there's an actual jump that I... Yep, I was too far away from everything else to keep that S rank going. Or maybe not. What was with that? Why did it stick around for so long? You see, this is a little bit of why I feel like the game's like really forgiving on certain aspects. Like that S ranking, like it was there for a good second or two before going away. Where is the floor? The floor is what you perceive the floor to be. It's only an illusion if you so want it to be, or the game didn't load the textures. And I started it not knowing if it was a level gimmick or not, but I decided to keep playing it. Okay, we got a new enemy. A ball? Ah. I thought I dodged before that, but... Floor is a social construct. Exactly. It's only there because the man tells you it's there. Yeah, it's a little bit strange. I do wonder if it's going to start up soon. Like, if it's going to keep on going until, like, I exit. The fact that it's gone this long, though, is sort of hilarious. Not gonna lie. But for those who are curious, the best part is the combat, and it does feel smooth. I just want a little bit more difficulty out of it, but like, if you want to feel like that, you know, badass fighter, this game is doing the job in terms of that. Even with me taking those hits, I still feel like I'm doing really well. It is a forgiving spectacle fighter, but, you know, it's good to have experiences like that too. All right, that should be the end of the level, maybe? Okay. Now the question is, will this continue? Games are magical constructs held together by duct tape and spit. And a little bit of elbow grease. Okay. Let's see what happens. Nope. Okay, we're gonna go back. Guys, I'm on the PC. I'm gonna restart the game. Give me a second here. Okay, now let us try this again. A little better. Hey, look, I can see where I'm going. Imagine that. It makes actually fighting, you know, funny enough, does it make the fighting easier? It's actually a good question, because it's like, okay, yeah, you see where you're going, but do you really need to? Or do you just need to focus on the enemies? It's actually a legitimately interesting question in my mind. Attached right into it. Wait till the enemies disappear. Fighting invisible enemies. That does sound like it would be a challenge, though. I'm taking too many hits. I'm being reckless now. Those ball enemies are changing up the game a little bit because they can sort of home in on me. So I got to be a little bit more cautious with the way that I attack things. Like that. Although the gun just keeps them away too. I feel like speedruns are going to be something to watch, but I feel like perfection runs are going to be fun to watch too. Oh, wow. Not a bug, it's a difficulty setting. It's a modifier. It's like, oh, you were doing too well. I gotta have to change this up for you, okay? Okay. The fact that I could float down with the gun, too, does help a lot, because it, like, in that case, it kept me in the air long enough to dodge that bullet. Or dodge that armadillo attack. You see, the thing about a fighter like this is weird. It's like, okay, who's the audience for this game? Spectacle fighters have a very specific audience. Like, I know a lot of people got more into Devil May Cry 5 than ever before, but I feel like it was a little less, I don't want to say spectacle fightery, because I really haven't played it yet, so I really can't comment. But from my understanding, it's a little bit easier than others in the genre, like a Bayonetta or a the original Devil May Cry series, or something like even like a God Hand. So it's weird because like those audiences have a very particular want out of their game, and where this game fails for those players would be its difficulty. The fact is that, yeah, they would go for perfection most likely in that case, but they're still going to want that hard difficulty, that sort of challenge. With that said, for newer players, it's going to be a question of whether or not they're willing to give it a try. And I feel like those who aren't necessarily, you know, big in the genre are going to enjoy themselves, and they're going to feel like badasses. So it's this weird, like, sort of, I don't want to say backwards, but it's like the genre itself, that the type of player that I see wanting to play this game more than anything are people who don't usually play the genre, which is weird. Variety, yeah, that could play. I haven't seen it because it seems to add it regardless of where the combo happens. In terms of the shoot and everything, like it literally just sort of adds it to it and almost updates it at that point. Every DMC sold millions for based on casual or randomly interested at first. You're right on that, but I feel like there's a different story when you've got a bigger publisher, and you like I mean it's Capcom. Even with the first Devil May Cry, it still had the Capcom name behind it. So you knew what you were getting a little bit more. Like, you knew Capcom from Mega Man. You knew Capcom from, well, not Castlevania. You knew what Capcom was. To ask the same for an indie game with the reputation, like newer players are willing to try. The more casual players, in my mind, are willing to try things in the more AAA space in that sense. I don't know if they're willing to do that with the indies without like the coverage behind it. And to be honest with you, it was actually, I was a little surprised when I saw that the game only had like 4 or 5 reviews on it. Especially considering that it's got a Switch release coming to it. Or it's got a Switch release. Even, yeah, Steam version only has 4 or 5 reviews in terms of that, but even then I was like, this is a weird place for that. Ryu from Streets of Rage, obviously. I do like it that it stops right there. Like, oh, hey. Oops. I'm being a little bit more reckless than I should be right now. But that's the story of my gameplay. As for score chasing, I can see this being a game that would be great to score chase with, but my question is, and it's something I need to check, does it have online leaderboards? Because I don't think I remember seeing that. Because that will make a difference for those score chasers. Ah! Up. Nope. First death. So that's a continue. Oh, there is a live system. Interesting. I did not expect a live system. I sort of completely missed that X45 next to my name. Or next to the character portrait. Don't know why I did, but I did. Man, it's getting a little bit more difficult, but I feel like I'm just being more reckless more than anything else. Steam page does mention online leaderboards. Okay, good. Oh, God. I died right into that. You give up? I'm surprised you lasted this long, dear. Oh, I was able to take a half a health of damage? When did that become a thing? It is getting a little bit more dangerous with some of these. See, I don't like the fact that enemies can go through those things like that because they can get into weird situations where they're like right in the line of path of like just out of reach enough that it becomes a problem to actually hit them. Can I dodge? Okay, so that trap doesn't activate until I actually hit the laser, so that's interesting. Where are my iframes? I'm not gonna try to calculate the iframes. Where's my frame data? Where's my frame data counter? Jokes with the iframes. I'd like to say that was completely intentional. It wasn't. Because I usually save those super moves for like last resort. But you do gain like a ton of them. Okay. I think that's the end of the level. Where are my eye holes? That's a good question. Super Crush KO at AFO 2020. I don't think so. Oh, minus 10. You actually get minus for it. Okay. I still got an A. I'm still good. I'm gonna at least go to another boss. Okay. The little hearts that come out of her once in a while are nice. In terms, not like the health, but like the effect. Perfect combo, no damage, S rank clear. Woo. Oh, I noticed that her facial thing changed a little bit when I got that. That's nice. That was cool. Ah. I thought I actually had dropped to that other portion. It hasn't introduced a new mechanic in a little bit, so I think it's given me all the skills that I'm going to use, and it's going to take the rest of the game to like introduce new enemy types. And I think it's a more simplistic game in terms of the like combo system, because I mean I'm starting to do the same thing over and over again, but I don't think that's too big of a problem here, especially on the 2D plane. As they say that, okay, so we got a new mechanic with the jump portions. Still the same skill. There was multiple dodges on that one in terms of that, whatever you call it, that cascading effect. Camera did something a little weird there. I don't know how to... Was that intentional? Like, it almost like lost track of what I was doing for a second there. Like that it was not it was changing over to something. I'm surprised that it hasn't gone for a straight like up platforming section to like put the variety in a little bit. But then again, I guess that's just not what it's going for. It literally is the going for that fighting and nothing but the fighting, which is fine. I'm just surprised because this game is starting to feel very samey after a while. Okay, I was able to dodge cancel that, like, hit the ground attack for who was asking. That one I was able to dodge cancel easily into. No, I don't want the S to go away. Nope, it went away. I like how it's literally off screen and I'm still juggling them. I'm surprised my combo reset on that. Not the, like, A combo, like the hit combo. Can you dodge in any direction, or is it left or right? I cannot dodge up or down, if that's what you're asking. It's left or right. Most of your dodging in the other directions are coming from your uppercut or, well, really your uppercut. Or that sort of dash move, that link move like this. The bullet clearing options, dodge into it is a clear option, and that's pretty much it. And the super. Can I become a professional robot beater-upper? Is that a job? Is it a job? I think that's with Boston Dynamics. You just beat robots with a hockey stick all day. How could you defeat Mecha 1? Obviously because I'm the best. Is it going to be Mecha 2? Name to Mecha 2. I was getting to that. Don't interrupt me, Karen. Jeez. Aww. Really? I mean, it's obviously going to have different attacks, but... Oh, boy. Oh. Oops. I probably shouldn't have attacked him like that, but you know what? Screw it. I am a little surprised that they're reusing the design that quickly. Like, I don't think he's that much different from the other one, is he? Oh, God. I don't know how I didn't take damage there, but that's okay. Hello, creamy splashed hats. Don't have any energy. Gotta waste. Took damage, that's fine. Come on, kill some of the smaller enemies, get that energy back, and take all of them. Yeah, it is very weird to see it use that model already again. I don't know if that was more for the joke they were going for in terms of the Mecha 1 and Mecha 2, but you could have waited like at least a level to pull that joke off. So it is a little bit concerning to me that they already reused it, especially in a game that does have repetition like this. Granted, part of that repetition is that sort of ballet of combat that you're looking for, but I don't know. I usually in spectacle fighters, those bosses are key. She's entertained. I've only died once, so, and a lot of the damage I'm taking is just me being completely reckless. It's not like I'm, like, you know, not hitting those executing, like, spots. It's like me doing that, just being, like, not. I wouldn't say it's not like River City Girls, because the River City Girls with the 2D, I don't want to say 2.5D, but the more focus on the 2D combat and the combos here, and in particular going from enemy to enemy as opposed to the positioning, there's a little bit different from River City Girls, at least in my opinion. Granted, both of them have their own strengths, and I wouldn't, you know, one isn't necessarily better than the other in terms of like a certain style. They just execute themselves a lot differently. But hey, at least we have that. At least the game loaded its textures this time around. The gun also makes it a lot different from River City Girls because of that. The fact that you always have it on you and you always have a ranged option on you. But the style also, like especially the jacket, does remind me of, what's her name? But I will say this. Even with that last level where they focused on more greens and in the background, it's all feeling the same. Like, you know, in games like this, you know, yeah, it's sort of tropey to be like the water level, the ice level, the, you know, those kinds of things. But they're tropes somewhat for a reason. It helps to keep variety in terms of the gameplay and not like looking at the same thing over and over again. And here it's just like I'm looking at the same thing over and over again. Like the style Koyoko does look like here. Yeah, you're right. Especially that jacket on her. And I get you on that one. Oh, now we have a flamethrower enemy. Like, I don't want to say like the team of 5 didn't do a lot. You know, I mean, again, you know, a team of 5 and putting out a game like this, I mean, there's a lot of intricacy to this. It takes a, you know, it takes a village. And it's just that the thing is I do see there could have been more smarter uses of assets, in my opinion. Like, for example, one of the best examples I can think of, the Mario 3 bushes. They end up being clouds, and they end up being other things in the game, partly due to memory limitations, but it's using assets like that, again, smartly to keep that variety going and being able to add a bit more stuff to the game. So I do wonder if there was a option here to keep things a little bit more varied, but as FAQ says, it seems like their focus was in the right place. Is that keep that combat smooth. And it's not like I can say that the combat is not smooth. It's not, you know, it's grown on me a lot in this past hour, and quite frankly, it is got that addictive quality to it that, like, you know, I could keep on playing it even though I'm killing these same enemies here. And you're right, FAQ. The fact that it is this polished on launch, I will give them that. Like, especially with games like, you know, these combo games, they can be like one wrong move and you know everything doesn't feel right. You know, the physics not being just the right amount in terms of the resistance on a jump, and the game just doesn't feel good. With all the enemies and the speed and things like that, it's a very delicate equation that, you know, not a lot of people get right at times, especially a smaller team. And you have to remember that, like, a lot of spectacle fighters are done by these bigger teams with large QA. I get that some people aren't seeing it, and you know, that's fine. If the game isn't visually like appealing to you and it doesn't feel like the kind of gameplay that you would appreciate, I can't say that even with me behind the controller that would change that at all. It does feel probably better than it looks, but like, what you see is what you're getting, in my opinion. And as people said, the one thing that is dragging it down, despite the fact that I think they focused on the right place, it's the variety. It's the fact that, yeah, like you mentioned, the music is feeling the same, even though it is a different track from the first two. There's also weird... Whoa. Random explosions. Okay. Cool. I wish you would have given me some heads up on that game. There's at times the speed seems to adjust itself a little bit weirdly. Like, I don't want to say there's a slowdown, but it feels like a slowdown at times. And I don't know if you guys are seeing it. It's probably easier for you guys to see as opposed to me in the middle of battle, but it feels like the game like pauses for like a brief second or slows down for a brief second. Are there sound sliders? Yes. I apologize, guys. I could have upped that. That better? Hopefully that's better. And hopefully you guys can still hear me. No, not the game value. The music relative. The music relative. Yeah, you can change that. So let me, just for the sake of the stream a little bit, I'll move down the sound a tiny bit. So you could hear the music a bit. Also, thank you guys. Shoot. Okay. Oops. Keep on using my supers in the way. I'm getting caught on that little edge. Maybe make the game a little bit more quiet. Okay. Hopefully that's what. Hopefully that's a good balance. I am also trying to be a little bit considerate because I'm assuming Andrea's asleep right now. She's in the other room, and I don't want to make too much noise. So I'm trying to keep my voice a little lower. Okay, good. Keep on going, keep on moving. Yeah. Get some sleep, man, if you need to. I'll probably tap out at one of these rounds. I do have work in the morning. Yeah, like the music does complement the combat really well, I think. But like I'm almost forgetting about it a little bit with the rhythm, the combat, which to each their own. Have a good night, man. I'm surprised I got hit by that. I'm not exactly sure why I got hit by that. I don't know, for the price, I feel like it's completely serviceable, but it's going to be a game that it's going to be very much a not for the genre lover, but for the genre curious, at least in my opinion, or somebody who likes the sort of charm of the game is giving off. Okay, this is a little bit different section. A little bit more focused on area combat there. So I will give my final thoughts right now. Like if you were looking for a more toned down version of Bayonetta in the 2D plane, or you want to try a spectacle fighter and you haven't before, I feel like Super Crush KO is going to be something that you'll enjoy. If you're a hardcore genre fanatic, that I don't think it's going to be something that you are going to completely enjoy. I think it's just got too many rough parts around the edges, and its difficulty isn't going to drive you into wanting to play it more and more. With that said, what I like here is, you know, its combat is smooth. The controls are there. The enemy design is reasonable. And yeah, it could be a little bit harder, but, you know, at least I am enjoying kicking ass. I mean, that does say something for the engine in question. Yeah, I don't know why the game keeps on changing, or maybe it's me changing because I keep on trying to adjust to, you know, the fact that I think Andrea's sleeping. The presentation is nice. It obviously had to cut corners at certain places, and I get that. It is indicative, though, of one of the bigger problems here, and is that it's just repetitive. It keeps doing the same thing over and over again. And at a certain point, it's just, it needs a little bit more to it. Not to say that what isn't here is fun, it's just that over, you know, especially the fact that I've only hit the 2-hour mark, what's that going to look like at 4? I don't think it's going to introduce that many new skills to the game. It's going to rely on enemy variety and level design. And even now, I'm still seeing a lot of the same thing, same amount of enemies. I do wonder if, you know, some of these levels could be shorter too. And I do wonder how well the game's going to do on Steam, because I'm curious who is going to play the 2 hours limit and be like, yeah, I want to play another 4 hours. At least with what I see here. Now, again, I always ask people to get multiple opinions, and I'm not saying this is a bad game, not at all. I just don't, it's one of those games where I'm going to give a recommendation in terms of a specific audience, aka newbies to the spectacle fighter genre that want something a little bit more cutesy, but it's not going to be a game for everyone, and, you know, that's fine. All right, guys, I know that is a shorter stream today, but again, work, all that jazz. I'm gonna try to stream Saturday, but don't quote me on that. So hopefully you got an idea of exactly what Super Crush KO has to offer. Are there any other questions before I head out for the night? Looks like there are 5 chapters based on the fact that there's those extras. In fact, I can't go over, so I don't even know. So there may be a little bit of a length thing for certain people. I'll put that out there. I'm going to try. All right, have a good night, guys.